Hey everybody, welcome back to day 9 of the March Mood Mindfulness. Lovely to have you here. Really excited for today's prompt. Today's prompt is all about the sense of taste. And I've put the 4 senses down: sour, salty, sweet, and bitter. They've recently identified a 5th one, which is the umami taste, which is like equivalent to the savory, but I thought I'd keep it basic. If you want to go for the umami savory, go ahead. You know, it is your favorite one. So I'd love you to share your favorite one. So for me, I've definitely identified that mine is a kind of, I think it's a combination of salty and sour, because I really love that taste of the vinegar. So when I think about the fish and chips, the lovely salty spray of the vinegar on top of that crunch, and for me it's a combination of the sound, because I've noticed that crunch on the fish, I've noticed that it's the crunch on the salt and vinegar crackers, the sakata as well as salt and vinegar. So I think it's a action with a little bit of sound for me, and definitely for me, I've identified sound as a major one of my major senses. So I'm very auditory. I hear things before I see them. So yeah, that's just me. And in knowing the things that you find out more about yourself. When you find out more about yourself, you know who you are and what's right for you. So I really encourage people to find out more about themselves and what makes them tick. So the interesting thing about taste is that taste is actually linked in with smell. Have you ever closed your nose to eat something? You can identify kind of the difference between salt and sweet, but you cannot really tell what it is that you're eating. Like, you can't make that distinction between, if you couldn't see and you couldn't smell, you couldn't really taste what you're eating. So salt, so nose and the sense of smell and the sense of taste are linked together. It's interesting because how they've chemically, how they've explained it scientifically is that our taste buds are the sensory cells that then accept the chemical that, whether it's a sweet, salty, bitter, sour, that's the chemical that gets absorbed into our sensory cell. From the sensory cell, it gets converted into electrical signal, and it goes to our brain, which then transforms sends another signal to the the amygdala is where emotions are created and processed, and the hippocampus is where memory is formed and processed. So all that chemical, and it's all energy, guys. It's chemical signal and energy production. It's all, when we say we're all energy, that's basically what's happening. Like, we're eating food that is energetic. The chemical response that's being converted gets converted into an electrical signal. It's another bit of energy in our brains. Our brains then get wired and they fire together, and so there's more energy being created. Our brain then sends messages to our gut to secrete the gastric fluid. It sends electrical messages to our mouth to secrete saliva. So we are just a big bag of electrical energy movement. So it's really wonderful to just know how it all works and how it's all connected. So I wanted to bring in the issue of emotions and food, and maybe perhaps talk a little bit about how the external world impacts us, and how then we create habits that we're trying to comfort ourselves, but sometimes we also are also hurting ourselves. So I thought I would bring in this model one more time. We'll put it in the context of food. So I wanted to start off by perhaps maybe another one of my examples, because that's what everybody seems to really understand how it works by. So say, for example, you've had a long day at work, you've been stressed, and it's time. So let's say stress at work, all right, and then you get home, you think to yourself, I've had a long day's work, I'm really stressed. The main thing here is your body is now trying to calm you down. So food for us is, many things. Food for us is a way to survive. It's a way of comfort, and it's a way to please ourselves, like having pleasure. So when you're stressed, obviously you're either trying to comfort yourself or you're trying to, please yourself. So I would say that for me, it is comfort. Sometimes, if you think of it in terms of pleasing, it's like when someone's upset and you want to please them with something. So it could be that you're either stressed and you want to comfort yourself, or you're either worked so hard that you want to reward yourself. So the pleasure part. So, and whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. But there is a thought that comes in here at some stage where you then start to think of food. Now, if you get home from work and you go for a walk and you don't have an emotional eating problem, then that's the thing here. The thought is, I will do my yoga. The thought is, I will go for my walk. The thought is, I will read a book, I will journal, etc., etc. But specifically, if we want to talk about taste today, and if you eat for an emotional reason or to comfort yourself from an emotional problem, then that's kind of what I want to take you through today. So if you're stressed at work and you're feeling, let's say, dissatisfied, you're feeling out of control, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling very anxious about something that's happened at work, you will come home and you'll have a thought and you will say something like, and I'm going to use my example because we're very open here, like, that was hard. I need to treat myself so that because I did a good job, right? So treat myself. So at this stage, the emotion that's coming up for me is generally one that is, I am stressed. I need. I feel out of control sometimes. So stress, out of control. Maybe I'm sad. Maybe I'm anxious. Maybe I'm overwhelmed. Okay, so all these emotions come up. You then have a decision. So you'll sometimes go from thought to emotion, from thought to emotion, from thought to emotion. Like, I should eat this. No, I don't want to eat that. That's not in my diet. But I worked so hard today. But I can't be eating ice cream every day. But God, what about just one tablespoon? What about just a little bowl? And then you'll do this coming and going for a little bit until you just get really hard on yourself, or you go, stuff it, it doesn't matter. You'll come to a decision at this stage and you'll say, okay, just a little bit of bowl because you've worked hard and you deserve it. So you go to fridge or freezer and that's here. So go to fridge or freezer and have a bowl of ice cream. Okay, that's the behavior. So the decision is I will, and the behavior is go to the freezer and get a bowl of ice cream. And what happens, the outcome is it's not enough. So then you'll have another little bit of a conversation. You'll say, I need some more, I don't care. You see all these thoughts, all these emotions, I need some more, I'm still not happy, I still want to eat. So you're smelling it and you're tasting it and that whole thing is happening, and you're feeling that pleasure cycle, and your diet or your idea of it's close to dinner time, or oh my gosh, I'm eating the whole bucket, or whatever it is, that kind of comes out of your mind, because you're trapped in between this thought and emotion. And the underlying emotion, which is the root cause, which is the stress at work, that's still sitting there because you haven't really taken care of that emotion. You're just now trying to comfort it and trying to escape that emotion. So you're doing something else here with yourself. So the outcome here is eat entire bucket, and then from there is you'll have a thought. And you'll have a thought is, OMG, I just ate that whole thing. I'm a, insert whatever word that you put here. From there, the emotion will come out. I feel guilty. I am bad. I am lazy. I am fat. All the shame, the I am shame words will come in the emotion. And then your decision will now be, oh, who cares? I'll just open a pack of... And I used to do this. I'd go from salt to crisps to a drink to Coke to, and it was just skipping one on top over the other until, I just felt sick. So my stomach then would be like, ugh, I feel sick, stop. And this feeling sick was now more heavier than the stress, the feeling of being stressed in the first place. So that feeling would like go away, and now I felt sick. And I would just like hate on myself. So you'd have another layer of emotions now that is over dominant, and it's got nothing to do with stress. And it's more like, what have I done to myself? I've abused myself. Why do I do this to myself? When will I ever be kind to myself? And they don't care about me. The outside world, they don't care about me. Work and people on the road and people who cut in front of me, they don't care about me. And when am I going to ever care for myself if I'm treating myself this way? And this was the whole problem. When you're disconnected from yourself, you're not even there to support yourself. So the whole thing here is to be mindful of what's happening. And the whole thing is to love yourself enough and support yourself enough so that you're able to catch what's happening up here at work. Who said what to you? Recognize what's happening there. And the way you look at it is there's just two ways of doing it. You can either have it with ease and grace, or you can go with forceful, volatile emotions. So for me, I always grew up with this, don't be rude to anyone else. The thing is, I never was, but inside there was a passive anger. How dare anyone speak to me like that? How dare I let anyone speak to me like that? And there was always this energy which was just hurting. It was hurting my heart. I just constantly felt sad. I constantly felt the need that I needed to cry, because there was just a lot of injustice that was happening. And all you need to do is whoever is speaking to you, you just need to assert your boundaries and say, thank you for what you just said. Can I just let you know that I do not want you to speak to me in this manner? Or can I let you know I am not getting that done because I'm doing this instead? And you sort of do need to speak your truth and say it like it is. The thing is, you don't have to come at them angry, but you do need to use your voice and express your emotions and come up with what it is you need to come up with. And don't be afraid to say, I can't do it. I mean, the one thing that I learned was by saying no to someone else, you're saying yes to you. So if someone wants you to come and help them move, and you were going to spend the day with your family, or you were spending the day with your cat, or you were going to go get a massage, or you were going to go to the shops to buy that special thing, by saying yes to them, you just said no to yourself. All right, so if you place yourself first so that you fill your own cup, so that you feel good about yourself, you will then be able to perhaps go by later on and help them with a little bit of the work. But it doesn't mean that by saying yes to them, that you put yourself last. So it's always, and a lot of people have this misconception that saying yes to yourself means being selfish. But sometimes you do need to take care of yourself, especially when you're the most important person in your life. If you've got many balls up in the air and you're taking care of children and mortgage and bills and partner and many other projects, and you fall down, how many balls fall down with you? So sometimes it is a matter of understanding just how important you are and giving yourself permission to be front and center stage. And all it is an attitude of ease and grace. It doesn't have to be rude. We don't have to stick the finger. We don't have to come up with justification. It's like, I would love to do that, but you know what? At this moment, it's a no for me. With kindness in your heart. And for me, this is how people who know me understand me. They know that I'm busy. They know that I've got many things. Many people depend on me, and I've got a lot going on. So sure, go ahead. Feel free to ask. I will take it in consideration. And sometimes it works, and sometimes there's time. Sometimes there's no time. So I think that attitude is a really healthy one to have for all of us, and similarly for you, if you understand that people will be kind to you, and then people do need to kind to you and say yes, and that people also are kind to you when they say no, because they're also taking care of themselves and their family. So when I say, always give people an option, only if you can. I'd love you to help me. Otherwise, I understand you've got a million things to do, because time is precious. So that's how you can be kind to people, and that's how people can be kind to you. So I wanted to bring it back to this point here, because this is the point that's really important. So if you've caught yourself at work, and understanding what it is your trigger points are, whether it's like meeting deadlines, special people at work that just speak in ways that demand things to be done now, and you need to put on a little bit of energy and get it done, but that energy expenditure was what really pulled you out of alignment, and you're now frazzled and stressed. Think about that and how to tweak that in your life. And in the meantime, it could be that you just need to adjust the way you do things so that you are more in alignment. So as you shift out of alignment, shift out of gear, we have enough energy to do a few things, and then you'll realize, like, I feel my energy start to drain in activities that's the way above and beyond. Like, I'm at a happy energy level, and then when something requires a little bit more, I can give it a little bit more for, like, say 20 minutes, and then I'm like, done. I can't do any more, man. I feel it, right? So I now need to reshift and realign my body to come back into the energy range that I'm used to vibrating at all day, every day. Some people will vibrate at high all day, every day. Some people at medium all day, every day. So you will be able to recognize like where you're at. So I'm at 80% with my energy. And if you're interested in finding out about energy, perhaps I'll do the next video. We'll be talking about energy levels. 4 types of energy levels. We'll talk about them later. There's 4 types. Actually, I will do a video about energy levels and how to know which type you are. It's all about mindfulness. So when you realize you've given just a little bit extra, it's now time to create that space. Remember what I said earlier? Create that space so for you to come back into alignment. Reconnect the mind with the body, because there does become a separation, and you just go, and you're into doing. So it's now time to intentionally create the space, bring the mind and body together, create that moment of focus. And the first thing is, remember, we ground, so feet on the floor. Be aware of the air that comes into your lungs. Notice how you're breathing. So if you're breathing in through your mouth, you're in high beta, which is why you're stressed. And take a few breaths to change it. This could be as soon as you get in your car, actually at work. This could be if you're catching public transport. You're now closing off from the outside world. You're coming inward now. You're shutting off the outside environment and you're coming into your inner universe. And your focus here, the intention here, connect mind, body, and soul. And for all of those people who think a lot, what we're doing, we're changing brainwave states from the beta to an alpha, which is a more relaxed. And if you want to go total theta, which is that deep, deep meditation, just make sure you're not driving. Close your eyes, in through your nose and out through your nose. And just do that for 2 minutes. And then take it to 5. And then take it to 10. And then take it to 20. And when your mind starts thinking, I need to just let it go with ease and grace. And think to yourself, you're creating space between one lot of activity and another. Yes, that's coming. I need to make dinner. Yes, that's coming. Mommy's coming to do X homework, whatever. If you feel like you can't take this space when you're home because all kids are on you, plus dogs, plus cats, plus partner, create it in the car just before you get in. Create it in the car as you get in after, buzzing off at work. Create that space when you realize that you're in that stressed zone. And hopefully, the emotional eating part of it gets taken away. Now you do need to eat. It's good to have a snack. Your water, your apple, your water, your cake, your water, your biscuit. That's not emotional eating. That's what you have planned for the day. The emotional eating is when you're like, I need something, but I don't know what I need. That's the emotional eating. So I hope that this little bit of a model helped you think about your patterns. I want you to go ahead and think of this next time you find yourself in the fridge not knowing what you're looking for. In my house, this happens a lot. My teenagers, my husband, myself included, I've caught myself. The whole thing is you're in a state of unconsciousness. You just go, doing, not being. We all fall for it. Don't worry. We live very stressful lives. We're all on automatic pilots, which is why mindfulness is the most important thing. It's like wakes you up. You know exactly what you need to do. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody, and I'll see you in my next video.